Alright, what's going on, people? I'm AFlyingModem, and I'm bringing a tutorial or a how-to video for the people who want to live stream with your laptop. So this is going to be a video about how to live stream with your laptop, or how to improve your live stream quality, or just your live stream overall through your performance of your computer or laptop, whatever you're using to live stream. Now, this does not work for consoles because you can't really do anything with the console. It may give you some idea of what bit rate to use when you're on your console and whatever, but for the most part, this is for PC and using OBS. Some of the information I'm going to give y'all can be used in any streaming service and so on and so forth. Any questions, please let me know in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer them, and I'll let y'all know anything else from there. So there's a few things you're going to need. One of the first things, and all links will be in the description. The first thing I want to point out for you to go check out is the obsproject.com/estimator. What this basically is a good estimation of what your CPU can handle. Now, if you don't know the specifics of your CPU, then you'll want to kind of like guess around, and this is pretty much what I had to do for mine as well. But like I said, this will give you a real good estimation for what your CPU can handle, right? So it gives you a variety of options, and the highest options will be 1080p. My upload speed is around 20,000 kilobytes per second. So see here, it says right here, I can upload in 720p or 1080p. If my CPU would like this, I can handle this no problem, and my stream will be good to go, basically. But in actuality, you'll see later, my settings are more like this. So I can stream in 720p no problem in 30 frames per second, and I can have the maximum bit rate of 3000 and play FPS games pretty good. I'll even leave some footage captured from streaming down below in the link if y'all want to see what my settings look like. And that's enough about that. So let's move on. The next is a program I want you all to download. Now, if for nothing else, you're going to want this program for this little bar right here. And as you can see, it says RAM, and that's how much RAM I'm using right now, and my CPU, and how much of my CPU is being used. Alright. Now, what Advanced System Care does, and I'm sure you see a lot of advertisements for things like this, but I can honestly vouch for this program. It will actually, make your PC better, or back to the manufactured state, what it's supposed to be run at, and optimize it to where it needs to be ran at. So this is free. They also have a paid version. Like I said, I trust and believe in this product so much, I've paid for this program, and I absolutely love it. But they do have a free version. The free version doesn't do it as well, but it will help you. So if you've never optimized or cleaned your PC or did any defragging or anything like that, if you don't even know what I'm talking about at this point, go ahead and download this program. It's free. You must come to this website. It's not iOrbit, it's iObit. Okay? iobit.com. Now, if you want to just get there quickly, you can just go iobit, do a little search, and then it'll bring up clean optimizers. So there you go. Like I said, you want to go ahead and download that, but I already have that downloaded, so I don't need that. And it'll give you this little toolbar, and we're going to use this in a second, and the program will look like this one right here. With that being said, you're going to use this program. You're going to clean your PC and everything, then shut your PC down, your laptop, whatever, and let it sit for about 5 minutes. let it cool off from the heat and everything, because when you use your computer, it heats up. Now, one thing I want to mention is before you actually start fooling around with what your PC can handle, what you think it can handle, go ahead and go to your power options, right? Now, as you can see, it's things like this. It says like power saver, saves energy, but sacrifice the performance. You're going to get your best performance, obviously, from high performance. I don't necessarily need it because I can live stream without it, but high performance is going to pull out all the stops and make your PC do everything it can, and this will help your stream. Even if you don't use the iOrbit program, even if you don't do what I'm saying, if you're using settings and you can stream now, if you don't have this high performance setting selected, you will probably be able to increase your quality by a slight amount, maybe, I'm not sure how much, by putting the option of high performance. But I don't necessarily use that, and I stay on just the recommended settings or whatever. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the settings. Now, in general, you don't need anything about that. That's basically what your stream title is and everything. In general, a lot of people tell me that some people can't watch certain streams because the bit rate be too high and they don't have internet that's good enough to watch that. I've experienced this for myself when a friend of mine was checking it out and they couldn't watch it without it freezing because their internet simply could not keep up. So the recommended bit rate is somewhere around 1,800 and then with a buffer size of 2,000, right? So what a lot of people don't know, or a lot of people don't tell you, is the audio encoding is actually calculated in this. So if you have 320 and you go and put your max bit rate at 2500 and the buffer size of 2500, you're going to see the bit rate actually jump up to around 2820. So that's because this is not calculated in this. So the buffer, if you want your buffer size to go no bigger or no more than 2500, you have to calculate that. So basically subtract 25 with 320 and you get 2180. So the buffer size should never go above 2500 or necessarily too high above that. It should already be calculated in this. Alright, you don't have to use this bit rate for the audio. You can use like 128. It's a great bit rate. I haven't really noticed much of a change or anything of that nature. So if it just sounds a bit better as the higher you go up. So I just happen to leave it on 320 because my upload speed can handle that, and I encode. This is around the safe margin. People should be able to watch it. But if you're worried about that, like I said, you can set it even lower, but you have to make sure that your image quality, the information that you're uploading to Twitch or YouTube or whatever, does not exceed that bit rate. Because if it does, it's going to come up all choppy, it's going to be lagging, stuff like that. You're not going to have an enjoyable stream. So you got to make sure the video information being put out matches the bit rate, because basically what happens is you got like a small tube with a bunch of information trying to get through that tube, and it's not going to work out. So not going to save that setting. Oh, broadcast settings. A big thing is to select a server that you live near. I happen to live in California and Compton, so my server of choice is the Los Angeles server. Make sure y'all do that. Do not worry about when it says warning, your OBS settings isn't set for so on and so forth. It says the bit rate should be 160, so I'll probably lower that. But for the most part, when it says advanced settings, recommend encoding profile main, don't put main. Whenever I put the setting to main, my stream is all fucked up. So I don't use main. I set it on high. So don't worry about any of this. Don't click optimize and make it so it'll do the Twitch. It just does not work for some reason. I don't know why that warning is there. So with this, I'm using my microphone to record this video, but this should definitely be set to your microphone that you're going to talk into, and you know, the speakers can be whatever you want, but I have it set so everything comes through the microphone, and you actually get the sound that it's actually like recorded in. So the big one that I want to talk about is the advanced settings. So process priority class. Now what I found out that this does, when you have it on like normal or idle or something like that, when you're using other programs such as Chrome, maybe you want to play some music or whatever, if your CPU gets overloaded, it's going to put those other programs before OBS, so your stream is going to start to lag and get choppy. When you put it above normal, anything with a priority that's normal, your OBS will go before that. So the highest one, which is high, this for the most part will go before anything. So even if you're using like your CPU to the capacity it can be used, this will always be, it will always get first priority to have its information processed. Scene buffering time in milliseconds. Now, 1 second is 1,000 milliseconds, right? So I wouldn't recommend going any higher than that. And it just doesn't make sense to, because you're using frames per second. So if you're doing 30 frames per second, if you're going to spend, let's say, a second and 1.2 seconds to do a scene, which is 30 frames, then you're going to take, you know, basically 2 seconds to do this, and it creates a delay. It's not very good. I wouldn't recommend doing that. So I wouldn't recommend going higher than 1,000 if your CPU can handle it, but I have mine set at 850, right? Now, this is where, if you're using a laptop, this is where it comes in handy. They tell you when like you switch it or something, they give you this warning. It says it can have severe negative effects on your stream quality and CPU usage. Do not change the setting unless you fully understand the consequences of how the preset affects your stream. That's basically what it is. It says treat any guides that suggest changing this with caution. You should almost never need to change this option from the default very fast. And are you sure you wish to change this preset? Right? Now, this is the default, as they say, very fast. If you're using a CPU, if your CPU basically isn't fast enough to or good enough to handle some of these things, you can lower the preset, right, to like ultra fast. And basically ultra fast is this fastest preset, which should be, you know, self-explanatory, but this will reduce how much it will reduce the strain on the CPU. So you know, if at very fast, you're, you know, over here it'll show you like when the video is playing, make sure you have like the controller in your hand and something like that, and you're streaming, make sure you're like moving around in some FPS games or whatever you're trying to stream. Make it to where like a bunch of effects and stuff like that, a lot of high motion is in the game when you're trying to stream, and then this will tell you, it'll tell you the CPU usage, right? And if your CPU usage, when you're looking right here, is around like 80 something, going to the 90s, it's not, it says 100%, but it's still running smooth, and it's on very fast, you can you know, take it down to super fast. I mean, take it up to super fast, and that will reduce the strain on the CPU. You'll have more room to work with, right? Same thing for ultra fast. Now, the default for this is 700 if I'm not mistaken. So this tied in with this accounts for how much the CPU will strain. Maybe if this is on 700 and very fast and you pretty much got the default settings, then and your CPU is working fine, then you'll have no problems. You can maybe increase this to 1000, maybe make this go into faster. Faster, the higher or the lower it goes, faster, fast, medium, slow, and slower, it improves the image quality of each frame. So slower is going to look the best, while ultra fast is going to look the worst. But even though it's ultra fast or super fast or anything like that, it's not going to be completely hideous and you're like, oh my god, this isn't even worth streaming. It's not going to look like that. So don't get discouraged to use super fast or ultra fast. Now, like I said, you can put this below, and the lowest it'll go is 60, and that it's going to take 0.06 milliseconds to buffer a scene. And this, I wouldn't even recommend that. And basically this means that your laptop is pretty much the worst of the worst if it cannot handle this. So if you're doing 60, you're more than likely going to have to use it on ultra fast, and that's going to be that. So one other thing that I did not talk about that I just thought about, it was in my head. Let's see, video streaming. Okay, so optimizing, finding that sweet spot. Now for me, these are my settings for my laptop's sweet spot. Okay, this is when my laptop is going to run the best. I can run Google Chrome at the same time, look at chat, so on and so forth. You're going to have to, do a bunch of test streams and so on and so forth. So I would recommend, if you have a smartphone, to use someone else's account to watch your stream on the phone, or use another laptop to just simply go to your live stream and watch it, so you can test it, see what you like about it, so on and so forth. Now, you have to find your sweet spot. It's going to take a minute, and like I said, combined with running the system care and optimizing your PC back towards what it used to run like when it was brand new and it was doing things so fast, on top of optimizing and so on and so forth, because a lot of people say that you can't stream with laptops because it doesn't have a quote-unquote dedicated graphics card, which is simply not the case. One thing I did not explain is downscaling. So if you have a beast laptop, if you have a beast PC, you can stream in 1080p. You can set this right to 1080p. Now, to me, the best thing to do is to stream with no downscale. So you want to find what you can stream in with no downscale. But if you can't stream in either 720p or 1080p without any downscale, then you need to set a downscale. And basically what a downscale is resizing the image and sending it to Twitch. So this downscale would be 480p. Okay, and this gives you 3 options to filter, and the billionaire, I hope I'm saying that right, it's the fastest way to do it. It will strain the PC CPU the less, and obviously the further up you go, it'll strain it more. So this will give you the best options. It'll give you the best picture quality, but strain the CPU more. Now, like I said, the best way to do this though is to stream with no downscaling, right? So if you have to stream in 480p, find a 16:9 480p resolution, this Google resolutions, I'll probably do that for y'all in a minute. But you want to basically live stream without any downscaling, because that's gonna have the less strain on your CPU and it's gonna give you the image that it's supposed to have. Another important thing that comes with this, I'm using my Elgato. Another important thing that comes with this is setting the Elgato or whatever stream capture device or recording device you're using to the settings that you're going to be streaming in. So if you're going to be streaming in 1080p 30 frames per second, set it to 1080p 30 frames per second. If you're going to be doing 720 to 720, set it to 30 frames, right? Because as far as I remember, Twitch does not offer 60 frames per second just yet. But if you're watching this and you know for a fact Twitch does 60 frames per second, or anything does 60 frames per second, or YouTube for that matter, you can stream to YouTube with 60 frames per second now, you would basically set that to 60 frames per second so you can stream in it. This instead of like if you're only going to stream at 30 frames and you have it set to 60, it has to basically use CPU power. I don't know why it does this, but it has to. I've noticed less CPU strain when I set it like this. You set it to 720p 30 frames per second, so that's what you're going to be streaming in. Man, this video's already into 21 minutes. This is a long ass video. I apologize for that. I was trying to be brief. I think that pretty much wraps it up though. So that's basically what you're going to need in order to improve your stream quality, improve overall your laptop performance. This is how to live stream with a laptop, and it does not matter what the platform is. This is basically all the information you need. Like I said, any questions, you can comment down below. I will be happy to help you. I'll also be happy to share my experience with streaming and so on and so forth. And like I said, down below will be a link to some video footage of my stream and so on and so forth. I'll just do something real fast. So with all that being said, please leave a like if you like the video, share with some people if they're trying to figure out how to live stream. This is obviously geared towards people who have their own channels, have their own live stream channels. So I'm not going to ask y'all to subscribe unless you want to check out my content and you like what I do. I don't do sub for sub and stuff like that, but this is just to help everyone out because this is something I figured out and I can't find any guides that answer, if not all, most of the questions that people who get into streaming just started. So yeah, that pretty much wraps it up, and I'll catch y'all later.